He pointed at the door and said,
"Get out!"
After 12 years of marriage, that was all she got. No money, no apology, nothing. She picked up her 2 bags, the exact bags she brought into her matrimonial home, and walked away in silence. But the day she left was the day his life began to collapse. Her name was Stella. And this is the story of how the woman he discarded became the reason he lost everything. Stella didn't cry. Not when the door shut behind her, not when the whispers followed her down the street. She just walked. Because long before that night, someone had warned her. Men who are still becoming sometimes forget who helped them rise. Her grandmother's voice had been calm, certain. If you must marry him, then don't lose yourself trying to build him. Stella had smiled and ignored it. She met Ethan at a wedding. He stood at the front as the best man, sharp suit, confident, the kind of man people noticed. She was the chief bridesmaid. They were supposed to be focused, but somehow they kept finding each other. Between duties, between dances, between moments that should have been formal and distant, but nothing about them felt distant. He walked her to her seat, checked if she had eaten, made small jokes that made her laugh more than she expected. After the wedding, he didn't disappear. He got her number from his best friend that same night, called the next, then the next, and the next, until talking to him became part of her life. The night he proposed wasn't grand. No ring, no restaurant, just a quiet roadside and a sky full of stubborn stars. "I don't have anything yet," he said, his voice unsteady. "But I will. I swear I will build something for us." Stella looked at him like he had already given her everything, and she believed him. At the time, Stella worked as an administrative officer in a pharmaceutical company. Her boss, Daniel Reyes, was a quiet and reserved man. He noticed her discipline, her kindness, her strength, but he kept his distance because she was seeing someone else. When she got married and moved in with Ethan, she moved further away from the office, which meant traveling longer to get to work and returning home, but she didn't mind because her salary was practically the source of livelihood for them. Marriage was not easy. They struggled. There were nights without proper meals, days when bills piled up like silent threats. When rain leaked through the roof, Ethan would drag the mattress and joke, "See? Free relocation service." She would laugh, even when she was tired, because she loved him. She was happy, really happy. It didn't matter when things were rough, knowing they were one in body and soul, as she had always prayed. Like most young couple, they didn't plan to have kids early. Their financial situation didn't allow it, though. In their 3rd year, Ethan lost his job. Everything became harder, but Stella didn't complain. She stepped up and saved a lot for the raining day. One night, after another long silence filled with worry, she spoke. "There's an opportunity," she said. She explained what she had learned from her workplace: the pharmaceutical industry, drug supply, distribution gaps. Then she placed her savings in his hands. "Let's try." That was how his pharmaceutical distribution business began. While he chased contracts, she built the structure. She managed records, tracked inventory, balanced accounts. She corrected mistakes he didn't even see, encouraged him when rejection came. "Try again," she would say, and he did because she was there. Then came the breakthrough. A small contract, but to them it was everything. "We got it," he shouted, lifting her off the ground. We? She teased. We, he insisted, spinning her around. That night, they celebrated with food that wasn't instant or stretched, and for the first time in a long time, hope felt real. And with this hope, they started trying to have kids. And slowly, they rose. One shop, then two, a delivery van, employees, respect. The room became an apartment, the mattress became a bed, the struggle became a story they told with laughter. People called Ethan self-made, but Stella was the one holding everything together. Success came slowly, because success has a quiet way of changing things. Their life changed for the best, and somewhere along the way, he began to change too. It started subtly. Late nights, missed calls, short replies. "I'm busy," he'd say. "I understand," she'd answer. And she did, until understanding started to hurt. The first betrayal wasn't physical, it was emotional, and somehow that hurt more. She noticed the shift. The way he smiled at his phone, the way he stepped outside to take calls, the way her presence no longer grounded him. One night, she asked quietly, "Is there someone else?" He didn't answer. That silence said everything. Then came the losses. On the 8th year of their marriage, she had gotten pregnant again. Stella lay still as the doctor spoke gently. "I'm sorry, we couldn't save it." Third miscarriage. Stella stared at the ceiling, empty, again. Later that night, she sat on the edge of their bed, her work bag resting beside her. She ran her fingers over it slowly, lingering, like she was saying goodbye to a part of herself. Ethan stood by the window, his back turned. "The doctor said you should rest more. No stress, no movement. You have to be careful this time." Stella nodded faintly. "And besides, you don't need that piecemeal of salary they are giving you." Stella thought this was the same salary that started the business that was now flourishing. Silence filled the room, heavy, suffocating. Then she said it, quietly. "I'll resign." The words felt foreign in her mouth. Ethan didn't turn immediately, but when he did, there was relief in his eyes. Not concern, no softness, not sorrow, just agreement. That was all. "That's good," he said. "It's better this way." "Better?" Stella swallowed. Her chest tightened, but she forced a small nod. "I'll focus on the pregnancy," she added softly. "I don't want to lose this one too." She waited, just for a moment, for him to say something more, something kind, something human, comforting. But he didn't. He just nodded again and looked away. She left her job. No more income of her own. Left her independence, her identity, and stayed home hoping, praying, losing pieces of herself. In her quiet moment, a voice echoed faintly in her memory, her grandmother's voice. "Do not lose yourself trying to build him." Tears fell continuously because deep down, Stella knew something painful. She wasn't just losing pregnancies, she was slowly losing herself. And as always, she will stand up, wipe her tears in secret, smile, and continue being a wife and hoping to be a mother someday. There was a night she would never forget. Rain fell heavily outside. She cooked his favorite meal, waited, reheated it, waited again. 10:32 p.m. The gate opened. She smiled and rushed to the door. Ethan walked in, cold, distant, and then that smell, perfume, not hers. Ivyton, he said, flat, final. She sat alone that night, staring at the empty chair. "It's okay, he's just stressed," she whispered. But deep down, she knew. Then his mother came, Mrs. Cole, cold, sharp. "She cannot give you a child after all these years." She stayed behind the door, listening to their conversation. "I know," Ethan said with a whisper, and a tear ran down Stella's face. Ethan didn't defend her, but believed his mother. Then came Ruth, young, polished, confident. At first it was business, then more, then everything. Ethan got married to Ruth without Stella's knowledge. He bought her a duplex in a rich, prominent area of the city. Of course, his mom and family knew about this and never saw the need for Stella to know. Until one day, Stella found out the truth from a neighbor. "How is your husband's new wife?" The world stopped. She rushed home, her heart pounding, and what she saw broke her completely. Her bags were outside, her husband, her mother-in-law waiting. "I need a child," Ethan said. "This is no longer your home. Our journey stops here. You can't give me a child, so I married another wife." Silence. Then, "Please leave." 12 years, she whispered. "We can talk this over." "You don't fit my world anymore," he said coldly. "Get out." She picked up her bags and walked away. That night, she crashed at her best friend's apartment, who clearly didn't support the marriage. She cried in Emilia's arms. "I don't think I can survive this betrayal." She stopped eating, collapsed, spent weeks in the hospital. Then slowly, she stood up again. She returned to her grandmother and into her arms. Months later, after she has fully recovered and mentally stabled, she walked into her old office, hoping to secure her old job, and luckily got her job back. She rebuilt her life slowly, steadily. Meanwhile, Ethan's life was falling apart. Without Stella, the business lacked structure. He made poor decisions, trusted the wrong people, lost contracts. Ruth demanded more, spent more, brought problems. The business collapsed, and eventually Ruth left. He was alone. Back in Stella's life, healing turned into peace. Daniel, who had always been in love with Stella, finally told her. This time, love didn't feel like pressure. Love felt safe. It felt like peace, and she said yes. They got married quietly, no noise, no pressure. Months later, at the market, Stella stood with her hand on her stomach, heavily pregnant, radiant, whole. Then she saw them, Ethan and his mother, frozen. Their eyes dropped to her stomach, then to Daniel, then back to her. Shock, regret, silence. Ethan stepped forward, but stopped, because he understood. Too late. The woman he called incomplete was never the problem. Stella looked at him, just once, then turned away and walked towards her husband, protected, at peace. Ethan stood there, watching the life he destroyed walk away from him. And finally, he understood. You don't replace people who build with you. You regret losing them. Stella didn't need revenge. Life gave her something better. And if you're watching this, remember, your value does not decrease because someone failed to see it. Don't lose yourself trying to build someone else, because real love doesn't break you or make you feel like you're not enough. If someone can stand on what you helped build and still walk away, then losing them is not your loss. it's your freedom. Sometimes the end of something painful is the beginning of who you're meant to be. Stella didn't lose everything. She found herself. And you will too.
If this story touched you, please give this video a like and subscribe to this channel. More amazing stories are coming your way. You don't want to miss what's coming next.